We're ready, Charlie.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Ed meeting of December 1st. Roll call, Mrs. Lunt, please.
Dr. Cordolino,
Here.
Mr. Daughtry,
Here.
Mrs. Fano,
Here.
Dr. Modrak,
Here.
Mr. O'Brien,
Here.
Mr. Rappaport,
Here.
Mrs. Zuckerman,
Here.
Mr. Palma,
Here.
Mr. Grouse,
Here.
Mr. Joe,
Here.
I see him.
Mrs. Rossnow.
Here.
All right, Pledge of Allegiance, please, everyone. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to
States of
which
America,
stands
to public
nation,
states,
God,
one nation,
full
under
and justice for all.
liberty, justice for all.
Mrs. Slunt, the open public meeting notice, please.
The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provision of the Act, the Montville Township Board of Education provided a public notice of this meeting, which included the time, date, and location that was posted at the Montville Township Municipal Building, all Montville Public Schools, the Montville Public Library, the Montville Board of Education Administrative Office Building, the district website, and advertised in the Daily Record, the board's official newspaper, on October 9th, 2020.
Thank you, Katine. Who would like to go first, Elliot or Natalie?
I'm starting today. Natalie.
Okay, Natalie.
Okay, so I'm going to start with athletics at the high school. So on November 21st, the boys soccer team beat Wayne Hills, winning the 2020 Northwest C Group 3 championship. This makes the team back-to-back state section champions. In the final, goals were scored by Ken Shimabuku, Andre Lazo, and Pat Ferrari. Goalie Connor Zolokowski made 9 saves, and the defensive end, including seniors Spencer Karras, Alex Brinchka, and Colin Hennigan, were a huge part of this win. The team ended their season with a record of 13-1-2 and ranked number 9 in the state. Congratulations to the team and Coach Brown. For girls soccer, the girls soccer team made it to the state section quarterfinals on November 18th when they lost to Chatham, ending their season with a record of 3-11-1. For the football team ended with a record of 4-4. They had a green versus white scrimmage on Wednesday, November 25th. It was a fun way to end the season and send off the seniors. On November 19th, the NJSIAA Sports Advisory Task Force updated the plan for the winter sports season, including new practice, competition start, and end dates. For basketball and bowling, they are scheduled to start practices on January 11th, competition on January 26th, and will end on March 6th. Swimming and winter track and field are scheduled to start practices on February 1st, competition on February 16th, and end on March 27th. Girls volleyball, which was moved from the fall, and wrestling are scheduled to start practices on March 1st, competition on March 16th, and end on April 24th. It was announced that the ice hockey team would start on December 14th. However, yesterday, Governor Murphy paused indoor sports. He announced that all indoor youth and adult sports are being placed on a full pause, effective 6 a.m. on December 5th through January 2nd. Governor Murphy included that we're seeing outbreaks related to indoor sports, and this will help slow the spread of COVID-19. So this will affect the start of the high school ice hockey season. In a statement by the NJSIAA, they said the governor has made it clear that he wants high school winter sports to be played based on the significant mental and physical benefits they provide, and in recognition of the seniors who desire one more season of the sport they play. And lastly, recent Mustangs of the week include sophomore goalie for the boys soccer team, Connor Zolokowski, after posting 14 saves, a shutout, and only 2 goals given up in the state section tournament, and senior defender for the boys soccer team, Spencer Karras, was Mustang of the Week after contributing to a back line, which posted 5 clean sheets this season. Elliot,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
And in
Any questions for Natalie? Now, what are you going to give the report next time? Because there's no sports taking place, right? You're going to have to think something else, right?
Yeah, we'll figure out something.
Very good. Thank you, Natalie.
You're welcome.
Elliot, please.
Yeah. For other news like the school, the National Honor Society tutoring is now open for all high school students. Tutors will be available 1 to 2 p.m. every day after school on Google Meet, except on Wednesday. The National Honor Society fall induction ceremony will take place in the next few weeks. The ceremony will be pre-recorded and it will include videos sent in by the NHS members. There are now 4 more scholarships out of the 21 already available to the class of 2021 seniors this year. These are the William Mason HSA Scholarship, which is available for a senior who attended William Mason Elementary School. And this application is due March 12th. Valley View PTA Scholarship is available for a senior who attended Valley View Elementary School, and this is due April 1st. The Peter Arley Porter Jr. AP History Memorial Scholarship is available to a senior who demonstrated a passion for social studies and has taken at least 1 AP history course during their time at MTHS, and this is due April 16th. Lastly, the Lana Schuster Johnson Scholarship Award is available to a member of the class of 2021 who will be entering into the biology and/or education program after graduation, and this is due March 5th. On November 19th, the SEC encouraged students to write hand or virtually written letters to express their gratitude towards their teachers for hard work and dedication, especially during these hectic times of having to manage both an in-person and virtual classroom. Students were encouraged to pick up a green sheet of paper or click on the link for the virtual students to write these thank you letter notes, which were collected and sent out to the teachers on the week of Thanksgiving. So just to show the teachers that we really do appreciate them during this time. On November 24th, MTHS students were encouraged to participate in the Leonidas Foundation Holiday Toy Drive, where students were able to donate new and unwrapped toys to families and youth in need. And that's it for the past news. In terms of future news, for the class of 2021 seniors, the Student Council is now selling senior shirts. The sale began on November 19th and is running until this Sunday, December 6th. The link on the Great Schoology page allows for seniors to order the apparel online. So seniors order up. Come join the MTHS Theater Company to find out who done it as they present Clue stay-at-home version on December 4th and 5th at 7:30 p.m. Tickets are $12 and can be purchased online. And that's all we have for our report today.
Thank you very much, Elliot. Any questions for Elliot?
I have
Very
a
good.
question. I have a question.
Who's that?
Mike O'Brien.
Mike O'Brien?
It is for Natalie and Elliot. Just this is sort of an open-ended question. How do you think your classmates, this is our only portal to the student body, and how do you think your classmates are doing under the circumstances of this unusual school year? Okay, how are you doing?
I can start because I'm a hybrid student, so I go in on Thursdays and Fridays. And I know a lot of students have chosen to opt into the all virtual situation now that a lot of things have come up in the town, but I'm continuing the hybrid because I think, like, for me, it's important to go into school and have that in-person relationship with my teachers. But for some people, that just isn't possible if they live with people who have pre-existing health conditions or they themselves are at risk. So, like, I understand that perspective, and I think it's been kind of difficult to do the hybrid, like, for teachers, but I appreciate going into school and having that option. Elliot, I know you're all virtual, right?
Yeah. So for me, I have like friends who like have told me, because I've talked to them about like switching to hybrid and stuff like that, they need to be in person because that's their learning style. And for me, I am okay with like going all virtual, and I have friends who honestly take advantage of like this whole virtual situation because, you know, you're like really close to your bed and like you can go to school like in your bed pretty much. So I mean, there's that aspect, but I honestly, I do applaud teachers during this time. Having to manage both an in-class and virtual classroom is not easy. And seeing how my classes have turned out this year and how I'm still able to, like stay on track and really absorb the material. I thank the teachers and I applaud them. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
If there's nothing else, we'll go into Section F, the superintendent's report.
Okay. Just to follow up on Natalie's report, I want to thank and praise the student athletes and their coaches for a truly wonderfully healthy and safety fall sports season. I know a lot of schools around us that at some point were forced to postpone games, cancel games, and we were on the receiving end of some of that. But I think it's really a credit to all of the athletes and their coaches, how much this season meant to them and how hard they worked to keep everybody healthy and safe. So congratulations and thank you for all of those efforts. I did want to also note, Natalie and Elliot had mentioned in the reports tonight and previously, with regard to some of the philanthropic efforts that have been going on, not only at the high school, but we had tremendous efforts at a number of schools, whether it was, food drives or, as you say, toy drives. And I continue to be very impressed with the generous spirit that is so much a part of the culture here in the Montville Township Public Schools. So thank you to all the students and their families for your active participation in helping out others who are not as fortunate as we are. I did want to also note, I know there's been some discussion with regard to the current status of the coronavirus, both in our community and statewide. We do receive the weekly updates, and as most people know, over the last 2 weeks, the northern region has gone to high risk. We are now in an orange state, and one of the suggestions that goes along with being in the orange is that school districts consider transitioning to fully virtual instruction. I remain in close contact with the Montville Township Health Department, and I rely on their input in terms of making such a decision. At the present time, we do not feel that the level of activity of positive cases within the schools actually merit a change to fully virtual. So we are continuing to operate in our current model, and we hope that we can continue to do that for the foreseeable future. We've asked and we have not yet received a firm determination from either the governor's office or the Department of Education should the state, or particularly the Northwest region where we are located, shift to red, which is a very high risk, whether school districts would be forced to shift to fully virtual. We have not received that determination yet, and we are hoping to get that sometime before we might find ourselves in that situation. But at the moment, we are continuing, and I thank everyone for their continued efforts to keep everyone safe within the building and buildings and doing the right thing, in terms of hand washing and social distancing and wearing face coverings. So that concludes my report. I'll turn things back over to you.
Thank you, Renee. I know under the good news, and Renee mentioned it, a lot of the kids, they've really done wonders for the Thanksgiving holidays. The amount of food that was collected and donated, I see that Valley View donated it to the Morris County community, and also for the Montville Township Food Bank. We had Lazar, William Mason, Cedar Hill, Hilldale, also supplying us with a tremendous amount of food. And actually that goes along with the high school, which collected so much food that we were able to donate baskets of food for those people in need to make their holiday a little better than what it would normally be. So to all of those people who participated, I thank you. The next part of the agenda would be Business Administrator's report.
I have no report.
No report. Thank you, Katine. We do have some committee reports. Finance and Facility, Karen?
No report tonight.
Okay. Curriculum and Instruction, Mike Palmer?
Sure. We met today before the board meeting, and a couple of things we discussed. We talked about the new criminal history course, which is running for the first time this year. It's off to a good start. Hybrid environment has made pacing a little trickier, but we're on goal to do everything that we have to do. The course is running well, and we're looking forward to the rest of the semester. We talked about the open meetings that the administration is holding for elementary teachers. It allows teachers to basically interface with each other and share ideas. I guess commiserate with each other to an extent that's necessary. And it's been very successful. Teachers have gotten a lot of support from the administration. They've supported each other. And because of the success of that program, we're planning to expand it to the middle school. And finally, we talked about the new 2021 program of studies. A couple of courses were eliminated, a number of courses were added. We had a few minor modifications to the course descriptions, nothing earth-shattering. And that's it.
Thank you, Michael. Policy, Dave?
No report.
Okay. Communications, Michelle?
No report.
School Safety and Security, Mr. O'Brien? Mike?
No report.
Okay.
We haven't met.
Under G6, the ad hoc committees, we will be adding 3 committees to this. We are starting negotiations for contracts effective July 1st, 2021. So the first group is the MTEA, the teachers, and then we have the administrators and the supervisors. So any report from anybody, the teachers, Karen?
Sure. So as Charlie mentioned, the board and the association have begun to craft a successor agreement for 2021 through 2024. And to that end, we conducted a meet and greet virtually last night. And it was an opportunity for both teams to introduce themselves. Some of us were familiar with each other. There were some new folks on the teachers' side. All in all, it was a very cordial and friendly meeting. And as has been in the past, we expect negotiations to move smoothly in a very collegial atmosphere.
Thank you, Karen. We have received notice from the Administrators Association, and we'll be meeting with them probably after the first of the year. Delegates to school boards, Karen?
So on November 21st, the New Jersey School Boards Association conducted their delegate assembly virtually. A lot of reports were given. You can find it online. There was one resolution that was passed, the Lodi Resolution, which would basically require a board member to resign the seat that they currently hold if they were seeking candidacy for another seat on the same board. So let's say, for example, a board member had a year left on their term, but they wanted to seek candidacy for another 3-year term, they would have to resign the seat they currently hold. This is NJSBA will now create policy to that end. There actually happens to be a law that would also require the same, but NJSBA will now develop policy to match that.
Thank you, Karen. Mike O'Brien, School, Morris County.
No report.
Educational Services, Mike Rappaport.
No report this week.
Drug Awareness, Mike Palmer.
No report.
And at the boosters, Mike O'Brien.
The boosters meet tomorrow night.
Thank you. Liaisons, Cedar Hill.
The homeless school is meeting tomorrow night.
Hilldale, no report. Valley View.
No report. Their next meeting is January 13th.
Mason, Christine.
It was a great meeting. It's a small school, and the first meeting that I was at, there was only about 8 of us, and that included staff and administrators. So I think on the Zoom call, they had maybe close to 30 parents and staff participate, which was wonderful. And I think the president was very pleased. And they thought maybe in the future, that's what we'll do. And as a former parent, I know it's hard to go to meetings at night. You're getting the kids ready, you're cooking dinner, etc. So this may be a great tool for schools that need more attendance and volunteers. And they had more new parent volunteers. They were talking about the scholarship that they're going to be giving to the graduating alumni from the high school. They had some concerns and about the kids that are going virtual now for the state testing in the spring, I guess. So they talked about that. They're already starting their yearbook and their photos. And it was a really nice meeting. It was nice to see so many parents participating.
Thank you, Christine. Woodmont, Mr. Palmer.
No report. No report.
The Lazar, Michelle or David?
I'll just mention,
Excuse me, Michael Rappaport or David, I apologize.
I'll just mention.
Lazar.
Yeah, for Lazar, I'll just mention real quick that their picture day got rained out yesterday. And so now they've got makeup days Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week. So check the schedule and try to get over there.
Thank you. High school, Michelle or Mike O'Brien?
The high school PTC met virtually on November 19th. Mr. Sanford provided a very informative update for parents. The PTC presented their budget for the year. Spoke of different ways that during these times, the PTC still hopes to support the community, encouraged parents to still join the PTC, talked about the spirit wear sale, including the 50-year anniversary garments. And then the PTC was proud the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, they did a grab and go breakfast for all the teachers at the high school. Just as they weren't able to do their traditional back to school breakfast or luncheon. So this was, instead of that, a lot of parents donated to make that happen. And we were really happy to just, a little way to say thank you for the teachers for all that they've been doing for the kids this year. And I thought it was a good meeting.
Thank you, Michelle. Next section of the agenda is for public participation on any items on the agenda. So if you have any questions, Renee, do you want to give your...
Yeah, so I would ask folks, if you are currently watching us on YouTube and you'd like to participate in the meeting, you need to follow the information at the bottom of the screen to come over and join us in the Zoom webinar. If you are here with us in the Zoom webinar and you'd like to pose a question or make a comment on an agenda item, I would ask that you raise your hand and then we will recognize you.
These are on agenda items only. There'll be an opportunity at the end of the meeting for non-agenda items. Do we have any up there for
I do
agenda?
not see any hands raised.
All right, since we don't have any questions from the public on the agenda items, I would entertain a motion for the Consent agenda, please.
So moved.
Second.
You had that, Katrine?
Mhm.
Okay. Any comments on the minutes, section I? Section J? Finance and facilities, sections K? Personnel, section L? Section M? And I don't think we have any policies on the agenda. That would be N. There are no questions on the agenda. I would ask Mrs. Slunt to do a roll call. Are there any questions? Okay, Katrine, roll call, please.
Mr. Palma,
Yes.
Dr. Rodrak,
Yes.
Dr. Cordolino,
Yes.
Mr. Daughtry,
Yes, abstain from check number 96852.
Mrs. Spano,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien,
Aye.
Mr. Rappaport,
Yes.
Ms. Zuckerman,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes. We do not have any need to go into a closed session. Section Q, any old business of the Board of Ed? Section R, new business or general board? I'll start it off. I would just like to thank all of those youngsters and coaches who participated in the fall season. Some of us were fortunate enough to get to see several athletic events. And even though the seasons were short, I think the excitement was there. And I'd like to congratulate all of those youngsters and coaches who participated during that season. Anybody else for general board comments or new business?
I actually
All
have,
right,
oh, Charlie.
go ahead. Who is it? Who
Hi,
is it?
it's
Christine.
Christine. Renee, I have a question. Is there any guidance from the state as far as the winter sports, hockey, wrestling, basketball? Are they not allowed to practice at all? Or is that have not been decided yet? I was just curious.
I think the young lady gave a pretty good report on that, Christine.
Yeah, yesterday, Governor Murphy did put a hard pause on the winter sports, indicating that no activity can take place until January 2nd.
Okay.
So right now, we're just in a holding pattern. It's until that point.
Gotcha. Thank you.
The big ones you read are ice hockey and wrestling. Okay, section, anything else? Section S, public participation. It's an opportunity for any members of the public to ask questions about any items regarding the Board of Education.
So we do have a couple of hands up. I
All
will
right,
call on Andrea Green.
go ahead, Andrea.
Hi everyone. How are you? Thank you for calling on me. I did have a question regarding
Andrea, could you just give us your name and your address for the record, please?
Sure, Andrea Green at 17 Morris Avenue, Montville. I did have a question regarding the guidance that was discussed with respect to a potential mandate coming down from either the governor or the Department of Education should Montville Township move to a red zone. If that decision ultimately comes down and we do consult with our local health officials and a decision is made to eventually switch to remote learning, will there be an open forum, I guess, where our health experts will be available to answer any questions from the public or for any of the board members to share their health information to the public so that we understand why the decision is being made in the community to switch to all remote learning.
I don't believe that we would probably have the luxury of time to have a forum. I think a decision of that nature would probably need to be made very quickly, but I can assure you that we would certainly do the fullest job of communicating whatever data went into making that decision, or if the fact was simply that we were compelled to make that decision from a higher authority.
In reading the guidelines, they appear to be guidelines. They don't appear to be a mandate from the governor. There is no indication from the governor at this moment in time that there would be an all across the board shutdown of schools in the state of New Jersey. It does appear that there is guidelines in place in terms of whether or not there's a recommendation to move to all virtual learning. So those decisions are to be made on a local basis, but my concern is that we as parents shouldn't just receive an email and then the next day be told your kids are not coming back to school and have no opportunity, to have any kind of explanation or opportunity to question our health experts as to why that decision is being made.
Well, I think that, and I'm going to find some wood to knock on here, because I think in Montville, we are extremely fortunate that we have been on this road of having in-person instruction, continue to operate. Unfortunately, that typically is what happens, and a very abrupt notification to parents. And that could happen to us tomorrow, because right now where we are, those guidelines do include some parameters that, in terms of the number of cases or in-school transmission, in working with the Department of Health, we might be forced, based on information that we receive during the day, to make a very quick decision based on the guidelines that we need to close the school the following day. And that does not afford us the opportunity to give parents a lot of advance notice. And that's what's happened across the county and across the state. It's unfortunate that it works that way, but we don't always, the situation does not always provide us the opportunity to give a whole lot of advance notice to parents or to staff members for that matter.
Right, and I do take your point, but I guess my concern is when we did shut down back in March, we were in a much different place than we are obviously today. And I agree with what you're saying, that there's no imminent threat that we're going to be closing down tomorrow. But should we close down at some point in the future, obviously there should be some sort of opportunity even after the shutdown for there to be an open forum where the public can actually speak with our health officials and understand who's making those decisions, why they're making those decisions, and what the data is based on. Because everything that we know to date and what's been provided to us in terms of an explanation from you, Renee, and also, any updates from the state is that the risk of in-school transmission is very low. So it would be pretty shocking, I think, to parents as a whole if we were to just shut down abruptly, knowing that there's very little risk of in-school transmission going on.
But we will give you as much information. Renee has always been very transparent with that. Okay, next question, please.
Scott Riotto.
Yes, good evening. Scott Riotto, Roxbury resident, MTHS high school history teacher, MTA president. I'd like to wish everybody a happy December now that we've finally made it to the last month of 2020. I'd like to thank Mrs. Zuckerman and the high school PTC again for their meeting on November 19th and for the breakfast that followed the following Tuesday. I attended both, and I wanted to express my thanks again for that. I also wanted to echo what Dr. Cordolino said about last night's meet and greet. The MTA negotiations team was very pleased to meet with the board's team last night. And we were very uplifted by the tone and the spirit of the meeting. And we also look forward to a productive, constructive negotiations year. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Scott.
I do not see any other hands. Oh, wait. Sandy, see? Sandy, you have the floor.
Sandy, are you there? Nobody else?
I don't see anybody else. So Sandy, if we move ahead with the meeting and you had a question, I would welcome you to please email me and I will try to answer whatever question you may have had.
Okay, if there's no more questions, I would entertain a motion to adjourn at this point, please.
Moved. Second.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much for attending the meeting tonight, virtually. And everyone be safe, and we'll see you at our next meeting.